Hey guys, so this is the video to show you how to create a pose video in Maya using the basic rig here. And I just went ahead and created an image plane. As a refresher on how to do that, you just go to create free image plane and it'll pop up like right in the middle, but I just moved mine over here. So I have a folder on my desktop called references. So I downloaded 3 of the 5 references that I gave to you guys. You guys will have to do all 5, but I just wanted to show you just the 3 that I wanted to work on, just to show you just the process of how it actually works. So this is the first pose, so I'm just trying to emulate this. So we would get this guy going here. So typically I like to start with the hips as like the main starting point, because I feel like if you get those correct, then working on everything else is usually pretty easy, or easier. Let's see, rotate that back here. Head is up to the left like that. Foot is, oh, let's see, do we have a ball roll? Let's see, okay. What about, no, swivel, no, foot tilt, heel ball, knee lock. Okay, so I guess it doesn't really have, sometimes it'll come with a, rigs will come with a little control that you can adjust here that rotates based off the toe, but this one does not seem to have that, so we can just make the pose as close as we can, and we can drag these guys up so we get what we were looking for. Maybe a little farther down. Got some knee bend. Okay. This foot will be going behind, up, back, getting this kind of angle. Let's see, further back. This is the green control, so the knee is over here. A little bit further back. Okay, it's looking decent so far. Maybe a little bit more toward us that way. Maybe a little bit more rotation in this part of the back. So it looks like the head is right over the toe. So let's see if we want to do a little bit more adjusting this way. Maybe a little bit more this way on the shoulder. And I don't think we've adjusted this part of the back yet, so maybe that. Just keep going. Making out this pose. See, this one's probably a little bit more forward. Hand is open this way. And I'm not going to adjust the fingers just for the sake of time, but you guys definitely feel free to adjust the hands and fingers as well as you see fit. Shoulder is probably going to go back. Hand is going to be open like that. Let's see, like that. Shoulder is probably going to come up. bit. And then hand's going to go back, up, back. Okay, it's pretty close. So then once you have your pose completed, you would select all of the controls on frame 1 and hit S, and that is your pose. So that is the beginning of that. And then if you want to see it kind of without these controls on there, because I know these can be a little bit kind of just in the way of seeing. I'm just gonna leave it. I can adjust it a little bit more, but I think that's just for general purposes. That's how I want it to be. But what I was talking about, getting rid of the controls, NURBS curves. If you go up here to show NURBS curves, that gets rid of all the curves here. So we can get those back. And you can see on frame 1, since we hit S after we selected everything, that it has keyed on frame 1. So then it doesn't really matter too much. You can go to frame 5 or 10 or whatever other increment. Just give yourself a few frames. Let's say frame 5. Depending on the last thing that you selected. So let's say we selected this as the last item. So we select everything, deselect the main control, select it again. If we fill all these values with 0, snaps everything back to 0. So pretty nice. And then we can just hit S, and that creates another keyframe. And then as you can see on frame 1 it has this, and then it slowly transitions to frame 5. So then we can go into this image plane here, go into the attribute editor, and then just change the image from reference 1 to reference 2. Let's see, it's a little bit warped, so let's see. That's the pose that we're trying to hit. So let's try to get this pose. Make sure we're still on frame 5. Again, I'd start with the hips, so it's like rotating about this way, probably down a little bit. Let's see. Still a decent amount of back tilt this way, maybe open this way. Big chest out, head this way, down, like that. This foot is going to come this way, out. It's going to be facing like that. This foot's going to be up here. Move the knees down, get a little more of the profile or the silhouette of the knees. Let's see, we can probably move these over, because this leg is pretty straight. Maybe a little higher up. Not as far, maybe up. Kind of like that better than how that looks, but I go for some more asymmetry than that, but that's whatever you guys want to do for yours. Just try to keep it as close as possible. Leaning back a little bit, and then we adjust the hands. Doop, doop. It's going to be like that. Up, back, up. Take the elbow back forward like that. Shoulder is going to be pretty far back. And since the proportions are not exactly like this, it's not going to look exactly how it should, but just try to get it as close as possible. I know it's not going to be perfect. Struggle with that a lot myself when posing. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm not really going to adjust the fingers just for time's sake. This video is already 10 minutes long. I might even just do only 2 poses just so I can kind of show you what I'm looking for, depending. Or I might just zero it out for the third pose. Let's see, far back like that. The elbow's gonna be back. Let's see, maybe a lot further out. Maybe a lot further out. Forgot about the shoulder. Shoulder goes up, out this way. So that's, let's see. So that's pretty much the second pose. There's probably a little more curvature in the spine that needs to be added, but let's just say, for time's sake, just a couple more adjustments. So since we're on frame 5, select everything and channel box so we can see it, hit S, and now it should be from this pose to this pose, and then let's just go to frame 10 and then just zero everything out. So I would hold down, oh, if I didn't explain it before, you hold down Shift to deselect this and then select it again, so that way you can get guaranteed translational and rotational values. Select all these, hit 0, and then hit enter, and it'll pop it all the way back to 0. And now, let's see, from here to here to here, here. If you would like to as well, actually, no, never mind. So pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. So that is what we were looking for, and then you would just do a regular play blast as normal. Remember, you change from modeling to animation, playback, go into the options on play blast. You can up the quality, the scale, front window should be correct. Save to file, just name this pose _ video. Save it to your scenes folder or your desktop, wherever you know you want to save it to. Hit save and then play blast, and it creates that video for you of those different poses. Pretty quick. Mine wasn't even a second long. Probably it's better to make it at least a second long, but for the constraints of time, just to show you guys what I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So if you do it this way as well, that's completely fine. I'm just looking for your poses that you match to the references, and if you do, then you should be all good. But just the Maya file and the play blast from you guys, and that's it for the second assignment for this week.